Tim, how are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. How are you?
That is good. Today is the day, the birthday of the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I know.
So it makes
No.
it makes sense. Today's the birthday of the Marine Corps, and tomorrow is Veterans Day. So it makes sense
Yes. Excellent.
to
Excellent.
be on this live stream
Uh-huh.
with you. I'm honored and proud to work with you. I'm proud of your service. But today's a great day to talk about the work the EAC, and the work that you do with our veterans.
You got excuse me. They got some construction going on behind me outside. So I hope I don't know how they got at my window at this particular time right now, but they're
Well,
right
listen,
here.
listen, that's live TV, and that's fine.
Okay.
I was a non-commissioned officer in the United States Army, so I know I can learn to roll with the punches. And I want you to tell the audience a little bit about your background and your service.
Well, I did my last 10 years in recruiting here in New York City, but I started as a sailor. I went off to Norfolk, Virginia. I didn't really travel much. I was on the ship from ship to shore duty. And then I came to recruiting after 10 years of being on. I was on the LHA. It was a small boy underneath a carrier. So LHA, we transported Marines. So
Oh,
I know Marines all too well. So they used to come on and clean their weapons, and all they did was clean their weapons, eat, and then go do their mission. So we was like their taxi cab
sure.
drivers. So after that, I came back home and I spent my last 10, 11 years doing recruiting here in New York City. And then I ended up here in Veterans Court. So
Gotcha.
EAC had a job opening, and I volunteered in Veterans Court at first. And then EAC had a job opening, and the director hired me to do it full time, which was an excellent thing. So it's not really work to me. People always say, "Yo, why are you always smiling so happy?" It's not work when you're helping people. It
Yeah.
really isn't.
Well, it's great that you say that, and I want to get more into this for the audience and people that are listening, and we're going to rebroadcast this tomorrow on Veterans Day.
Okay.
Just a little bit of background on the EAC network, right? So we're a large social service not-for-profit operating in Suffolk, Nassau, all five boroughs, and a little bit of Rockland County. One of our board members said this. And it's just a perfect thing to say. We help people when they need it most.
Yes.
Right? We are there with a safety net for children, for seniors, for adults, and for families all throughout our geographic area. Our biggest, say, buckets of work obviously are protecting children from physical and sexual abuse in
Mhm.
Suffolk County with our Child Advocacy Center. In Nassau County, we run several programs. We're the largest provider, one of the largest providers of Meals on Wheels to hungry seniors. Last year alone, we provided over 170,000 meals to hungry seniors in Nassau County. We also have substance abuse and mental health treatment facilities in Nassau County and vocational training. And in New York City, of course, with our Alternatives to Incarceration program, we are providing an alternative to incarceration, to mass incarceration and to an unjust system, to people who are mostly underrepresented, Black, brown, and underrepresented people who are dealing with an issue in court. And instead of being punished and throwing away the key, we provide mental health and substance abuse treatment programs so that people can get out of this sort of very punitive criminal justice system, get back to work, get back to their jobs, get back to their families, and be a productive citizen for our city. Amongst the other programs that we do, right? Offender reentry,
Yes.
formerly incarcerated people who are coming back into society, and we got to get them and their families on the right track. And that provides for public safety. Obviously, it's an issue for the community, and it saves the city, tax dollars. Because if someone is a productive citizen, they're not a drain on public tax dollars.
Mhm.
And part of that work, Tim, is your work, right, with the Brooklyn Misdemeanor Veterans Treatment Court. And that's a mouthful, and people may not know what it is. Can you briefly explain what the Brooklyn Misdemeanor Veterans Treatment Court is and your role?
Yes. So Brooklyn Misdemeanor Veteran Treatment Court is uh, I wouldn't say it is a safe haven for veterans who get arrested in Brooklyn under a misdemeanor act. So when you do get arrested, you go to various court parts, or you come into Brooklyn criminal court. And my role as a coordinator is to go around to the different parts. We got about 5 different court parts here in the building, from DWI to all-purpose parts and domestic violence parts as well. So I go around. I get a list from the DA, Brooklyn DA, and it just lists all the veterans that have been arrested and their next court date. So I go around to each court part, advocating for veterans court. So I tell the vet if I get a chance to meet them. Pre-COVID, we had a lot of applicants, a lot of clients, but now post-COVID, and it's not really post-COVID, but we're still under COVID, mandate. However, our numbers have drastically declined, which is a good thing. It's a good thing, and we are definitely run by a grant basis. So our grant just got renewed for 5 more years. However, our numbers have declined. Yes, that is a big thing. So our numbers have declined, and that's not just in Brooklyn, it's nationwide. So hopefully the grantee people understand that our numbers have declined drastically because the DAs are not prosecuting the low-level crimes like they used to. So, like I said, again, I get back to my role real quick. Well, it is to go around to each court partner and advocate for veterans court. Now, you don't necessarily have to come into a veterans court for me as a veteran to help you. And I stress that to a lot of the veterans and the lawyers. If you want to fight your case in the part that you are currently in, which is a good thing, you can do that. We will still help you with getting a job, finding housing, furthering your education. If you wanted to get a discharge upgrade, we can help you with that as well. So we have a gamut of things that we can help the veteran. You don't necessarily have to be in our court to do that. So I stress that, I say that time and time again. So I don't want them to think that it's a caveat. If you don't come to veterans court, we can't help you. That's not
Gotcha. Listen, I think, and this holds true for a lot of EAC programs. When you think of helping veterans, the services that you provide, I think most people don't think of EAC, right? They may think of an American Legion, they may think of a veterans group, they may think of the VA. Why should people think of the EAC network, especially in Brooklyn, when it comes to veterans assistance? People aren't doing it, but tell the audience why they should be thinking of EAC, and how do we reach out to you in your office for help?
Well, I'm located at 120 Skimmerhorn, which is the criminal court building. And I plastered this whole building with signs and notes for veterans if you got a court case on every floor. So I try to make it, idiot proof for anyone to walk in and just say, hey, look, there's a sign for veterans if you need help. So I get calls from civilians as well. And they be like, oh, my son was in the service. And okay, that doesn't necessarily mean you, but if I can assist you in any kind of way, I will do so. However, EAC does not resonate with veterans, and it should. Yeah. Every borough in New York City has a veteran court on the misdemeanor spectrum and on the felony spectrum. A lot of people don't know that either.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
EAC has their hand in a lot of different court parts. Some is run by grants and some is not, but I know Brooklyn is. So we have just been fortunate to get our grant renewed based solely on our director, and Leah Santiago. She has been the forefront runner and advocating for veterans court, her and Crystal Stanton, who's the director over at Brooklyn. And so they work hand in hand. And then we have our grant staff, which they are out of Stony Brook, SUNY, and they oversee all the tangible things that we need to meet per the grant. So like I stress to the veterans, it's great to come into veterans court, and we need those numbers because proof is in the pudding. And we have certain things that we have to meet every month. However, we can still show productivity if you don't come into court and we still help a veteran. So that's just the end goal for us, or for me, rather.
What are the, again, this is the EAC network. This is part of our podcast series of, the EAC podcast, More to Do podcast. I hope we're getting a lot of viewers and they're liking and sharing this. Thank you for joining us. And Tim, thank you for joining us as well and for your service. What are some of the direct services that you and your office provide to a veteran?
Some of the direct services is educational. It is medical. It is housing. Like I said, we have a gamut of things, Robert. And most of the veterans that come through are from a different era. We have different eras: Vietnam, we have some Iraq, but mostly I see a lot of Vietnam veterans, and they in a terrible way. However, we try to, our resources are limited when a veteran doesn't have an honorable discharge. So they are limited when going to the VA getting services. So if they don't have an honorable discharge, the VA doesn't really see them as a veteran. We still do. So I have had veterans serve one day, go to boot camp and be sent home, and you still get services. As much as I can provide, as much education and job we can assist you with, that's what we do. So there's no, honorable to dishonorable to general underhonorable. We have no restrictions as far as we are concerned. And under our grant, we help you irregardless of your discharge status, but to get more from the VA, who is the bigger picture, and going in there getting medical and dental attention, we can. However, I have yet to help a veteran get their discharge upgrade. I have sent several of them somewhere where we have a third-party company who helped do it, but I haven't seen one come back yet. It's just that's just a long shot, and it's a lot of paperwork to get it changed. And I encourage a lot of the vets that I sent over, but I have yet to see one come back. However, that's just a small bucket. All the other ones that we help, we have several success stories, several, even, pre-pandemic, Robert, we have had several.
Yeah.
It's never too late. And I'm just glad you're doing the podcast now, but it's never too late.
As a veteran, right. And I know veterans, I saw, I went to an event last night and I saw, two first sergeants and a captain and a lieutenant. And they were talking to school districts about, joining the military and not just a career in the military, but, military service. Right.
Right.
And I said, we got to tell our story better. Right. And this is why we're doing this podcast as well. I'm guessing veterans, I know, but I'm guessing veterans are proud people, right? They served proudly. And some are dealing with mental health and substance abuse issues and family issues and all of those things that we all deal with, right? But are you seeing it, is it especially acute or especially troubling in veterans versus, a civilian? And what's the difference between a veteran that's going through this process than a civilian, if you can tell us?
Well, I have seen, because we have a different side of the house too as well. We have a civilian side. So we kind of work hand in hand where our program is, and we have a different civilian side. I just hold our veterans at a different standing when they come into our court. If you've made it through boot camp, then I do definitely hold you at a different standard. I don't care whatever the judge mandate is. We're here to help and assist you make it through. So I know you're going through tough times, but I want you to recall that boot camp era or going through that AIT school that you went through. And you're going to get through this. This is a kind of like Planet Fitness, because this is a no judgment zone. I tell them, I say, I don't judge you. I am no one to judge you. We all make mistakes, and we will help you. We have had veterans, Robert, that came back. Recidivism is real low. However, we have had some repeat offenders. But you can keep coming back, and we'll keep providing the same help, irregardless. But there is a difference. There is a difference. A lot of vets, when they get in our program and they have the mandate, they tend to complete it. Our success rate is very high. I was up in the 90 percentile. So they do tend to focus, laser in, and get the job done. And we used to, our judge used to admonish them. Our previous judge, Judge Walker, who served in the Navy, he has moved on to Supreme Court. Now we have Judge Arriaga, who's not a veteran, however, still provides a good judicial punishment, and admonishment when needed. But we really don't get too many admonishments because we also have mentors. Every veteran that comes through Veterans Court, I assign a mentor to them. So they have someone who helps them get all the way through, from A to Z, And at the end, we provide, dog tags for each accomplishment and each milestone. And we
Wow.
also provide challenge coins that we bought to give them upon graduation. So there is we have a very successful success rate, and they make it happen. So like I said, I can't keep reiterating, but I do, Robert. My job is not really hard. It's just once I get the veteran here, we help them all the way through. So it's not really work for me. It's
Yeah.
to help somebody. It's always giving is always better than receiving.
Well, Timothy, I think you're continuing your service, right, to certainly our community, the borough of Brooklyn, the city of New York. You're continuing your service to this country, that you started in the Navy, and I thank you for that.
Yes.
Keep up the good work. So this program is specific to Brooklyn, or do they have these courts in the other 5 boroughs as well?
Yes, every borough has them. I don't think that all of them are run by grant or on the EAC basis, but every borough in New York City has a veteran court. Everyone. A lot of veterans don't know that. They don't.
Yeah. So if I was a veteran and in trouble, like you said, with a low level felony charge or misdemeanor charge, how would I get help?
You would actually, if you were to, it's kind of hard to say, Robert, because things have changed. But during the arrest, you go through a CJA interview prior going to arraignment. So on the CJA questionnaire, and they just ask you, "Are you a veteran?" It's a yes or no answer. So if you say yes, I'm a veteran, and I have had people say yes, thinking that they're going to get out of jail for free, and met them in court, and they said, "No, I'm not a veteran." I just said yes. I said, "Okay, thanks for letting me know." But if you say yes, I'll try to come and meet you. And that's the only other way. I had a lawyer call me yesterday and said, "I didn't know. I seen a note because I put files in a little veteran file in their folder once they get arrested, and their record comes through our system." The lawyer called me yesterday and said, "Yeah, I didn't know that my client was a veteran." They normally don't even divulge that, and lawyers don't even ask that question, when they interview their clients. So the clients, and I even had some, Robert, that are a little bit reluctant to say that they are veterans because they feel ashamed.
Oh my goodness.
Feel ashamed that they got arrested or whatever. And I have met several of them. But again, like I tell them, I said, this is a no judgment zone. We all make mistakes. This is misdemeanor court, so you didn't kill no one. So we can recover from this. Whatever it is, we can recover. So
yeah. So it sounds like we need to tell the Brooklyn Bar Association and or the New York City Bar Association about this work, so that lawyers are knowledgeable of the service that you and your office provide.
We had it to a good point with Legal Aid Society, because there's 2, Legal Aid Society and Brooklyn Defender Services are the 2 main operating law firms in this building. So pre-COVID, I keep stressing pre-COVID, I had a good rapport with a lot of lawyers. So when we came back into the building, a lot of them has gone and everyone was still virtual. So it's a little bit harder to go back around and meeting. A lot of the old lawyers are still here. And I still let them know that our program is still live and kicking.
Yeah.
If you have any veteran clients, please come on through. We're here to help. If you see me in the hallway, come on through, ask me a question, stop me. My number, like I said, is plastered from the 1st floor to the 10th floor in this building. And I have signs and all over the world, all over the building. I just didn't put them on the elevators, but they're everywhere. So.
Well, we're talking to Timothy Martin, the Veterans Peer Coordinator, Veterans Case Manager, Brooklyn Misdemeanor Veterans Treatment Court at the EAC Network. This is our More to Do podcast. We have a few more minutes with Timothy because I know he's busy and there's probably a veteran that he needs to be helping out there. We're doing this podcast. Obviously, today is the birthday of the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And tomorrow is Veterans Day. As an Army official, Army non-commissioned officer, I always say, go Army, beat Navy. But today, we're all Marines.
Yes,
so let's say happy birthday. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps. And tomorrow, for people that are listening, Veterans Day is. I'm gonna say what Veterans Day is to me. I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Veterans Day is a day to be thankful, right?
Yes.
It's not Memorial Day, and Memorial Day is a day to honor the passing and the sacrifice that men and women made the ultimate sacrifice that they made. But Veterans Day is to be thankful and hopeful, and to thank a veteran, and potentially let's pick up a veteran, right? Let's tomorrow morning, let's do something to pick up a veteran. I'm working on a project, Operation Feed a Vet here on Long Island, and I wish that I could extend this to Brooklyn and New York City. But tomorrow is a day to really honor veterans and their sacrifice. Even in peacetime, right? It's not easy being away from home, right? You're away from your home, you're away from your family, you're away from the things that you know and love. So if you see a veteran today or tomorrow, give him he or she a pat on the back and say thank you. Timothy, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
You summed it up, Robert, but it means exactly that. I still have a son serving. He's in the Air Force down in Delaware. So Veterans Day is a day, like you said. And the joke that I go around many offices and I say tomorrow to a lot of my colleagues, tomorrow, thank a veteran for your day off. When you're off and you see him, they're like, well, Tim, how am I going to know he's a veteran? I said, well, you'll see some that are wearing their hats and their other military paraphernalia. So you just say thank you for your service, and that's all I want y'all to do while y'all enjoy your day tomorrow. But that's what Veterans Day means to me, bro.
Well, you did a good job, because your son joined the Air Force. That means he's smarter than both you and I. So
yes, he is. I just told him to pick a branch, Robert, and that's what he picked. So I said, okay, I'm not mad. So he's still in currently. So we are 11 years deep. He's in. So
wow,
he's been in Delaware his whole career, so he's enjoying it. He said, I got 8 more to do, Dad. I said, okay.
That is wonderful. I pray for him and he and his crew and his team that they're safe. We can't thank him enough, for his service. I'm going to let you go in 1 minute, but I want you to tell a story. I want to see and feel the impact, without using names. If you can you tell a success story that you've had over the last couple of years with one veteran? And again, please leave out the name, and I know that's important. Tell us a success story.
Well, we have had I have had countless of success stories. However, I'm gonna stress one in particular individual, and he really didn't even come from our court. He was in another court in Queens, but this veteran went through the Queens program and he graduated, and he came to veteran court in Brooklyn to become a mentor. So upon successful completion, they try to say wait 6 months until after, but until to this day, right now, he's still a Brooklyn mentor, without using his name. But he is a success story that I have had a part, and I've seen him grow, and he is loved, and he gives back. And a lot of the veterans that also do it, they do it from their heart, free, as a volunteer basis, Robert. They give their time to come to court, to stand by that veteran when they standing there in front of that judge. And every veteran that comes through Veterans Court gets a mentor. So that's their job, to come mentor that person, make sure that veteran successfully completes the mandate, graduates, and it doesn't end there, Robert. We are here forever. You don't have to delete my phone number. You can call me when you're feeling bad and when you're feeling good. And we're always here. So just because you graduated and got out of criminal court, we still keep in contact, and we still want you to come back. And if you want to give back, you can always stand beside somebody and give back as well.
Well, I'll tell you, Tim, I can't say it any better than that. And I don't want to go on and on, because your message is very, very powerful. Your work is extremely important. How do we reach you? You said you talked about your phone number or
yes,
website.
So, like I said, I'm down here at 120 Skimmerhorn in Brooklyn. We're right next to Atlantic Avenue, about a block away from Atlantic Avenue. My phone number is 347, 5404 5. Excuse me, look, I done messed that up, Robert. Look, I don't even give out my own number. 347 404-9554. So you can reach me there. And I'm here Monday through Friday. I work from 8 to 4, but I try to turn it off. But if somebody calls me after 4, I always return phone calls and emails. So that's how you can reach me, Robert. And I'm always open to volunteering. So if you need a volunteer, Rob, to come out there with your work, I'm free. I live out in Long Island as well, and I don't mind coming to do a little something and to give back. I don't have to be in my borough of Brooklyn, which I'm here most of the time, but it's always good to come somewhere else. And giving, I could do it at any borough. So if you need some help, just reach out.
You're invited as my guest on November 23rd. I think that's the day before Thanksgiving. We're going to feed 200 vets here in the town of Oyster Bay. So I'm happy to do that.
Yes,
we'll connect with that. Can people look? I guess EAC network.org is also a great way to find out more about EAC programs.
It is. We should be listed on there.
network.org. Call Tim, call his office if you're a vet or if you know a vet that needs help, or if you can provide any services to our veterans, it's much appreciated, and I know it's much needed. So Timothy, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for your continued service. I pray for your son and his team and his crew, and have a great Veterans Day tomorrow. Keep on keeping on, right?
Yes.
And yeah. And go Army, beat Navy.
Maybe. Hopefully not this year. Y'all been on the streak. So I have a judge. A quick story, Rob. I have a judge here. She is from an Army family. So every time the Army beats us, she says that to me. And we have a good rapport, and I still bring her Army paraphernalia. I got a lot of recruiting paraphernalia that I still bring her. So there's no love lost, but she is an Army family. And hopefully we could do it this year. We can beat Army this year. We'll see, Rob.
Well, this is the EAC More to Do podcast with Timothy Martin, our veteran peer coordinator and veteran case manager in the Brooklyn Misdemeanor Veteran Treatment Court. Thank you for your service. Again, the EAC More to Do podcast. For more information, go to EAC-network.org. Very much appreciate your work. Keep up the great work. Happy Veterans Day, and have a great day tomorrow. I hope people recognize you and your service.
Thank you too, Robert. Have a happy Veterans Day, and thank you for having me. My pleasure.